automatically makes them very valuable. And we must protect them like endangered species, like we protected the IPOB and everybody that believes in the ideology. Like we will have to protect the Yoruba Nation advocates and everybody that believes in the ideology. Is that not what we do? And you see, every base, there are some base that these criminals have confidence that they could poke them anytime and nothing will happen. So far, so good. They've poked so many camps. And a lot of us are just waiting for the implosion. Is that not so? Huh? You know that we all need to be united on something because we all have something in common. And that is, we have the criminals who have sworn to keep us enslaved, oppressed this way, because they believe there's nothing we can do. Now, when you have an active base like that, active base like the obedient, so I would just kind of silently pray for them to get so mad and angry and arrest the guy. So in case if you don't know, because some of you sometimes you always want person make person use the mouth, to use the mouth to say everything. When I tell you, leave them, don't target them, don't let anybody use all this Igbophobia flying everywhere that some of you have swallowed, hook, line, and sinker. But you so much respect my face so much that some of you started feeling reformed. Because if you are to be allowed to say your mind based on all of the aids, divisive rhetoric that they have actually fed a lot of you from all platforms, especially during their charade election, if you are allowed to say your mind about Yoruba, if not for Mayegun, if they allow you to say your mind, that thing they don't feed you about the Igbos, if not for Mayegun, I know a lot of you probably just have that respect that, okay, I won't say anything, Sha. It's because I won't say, I'll just, So the bottom line there is that we want them to get provoked. May they arrest him. Imagine they arrest him, handcuff, like they did to Showore, or like they did to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, or like they attempted to do to Igboho. Imagine they kind of put handcuffs on Obi and say they are charging him for treason because he's been inciting people. At that time, when Obi did no could do anything, like they have been saying, some of them are already saying it now, that if they burn Tifnubu snuff his coke, may arrest Obi. You remember that time when some of them told us, Mayegun, let me tell you something. Boys are ready. This election cannot be rigged. Mayegun, if they rig this election, Nigeria will blow. Obi is winning. If anybody rigging like that. But my people came back here. I'm not mocking you because you know yourself. You said that to me on this platform. Remember? But today, some of you don't want to say much anymore, right? I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying that you do have an excuse when the man that is believed to have been robbed of your vote and all that says, calm down, we are going to court. So it's contradictory for people to go on now, Abi, and do something. So I want to keep them active. That's why you have to keep the obedient active. You have to help keep them active. Sure you get now. So if for some reason they provoke Tifnumbu and these power-drunk guys in Nigeria, and they say, arrest him, John, nothing will happen, because they know they talk and say, may they touch him now, may they arrest him. So that is why you should all know that we all have something in common. The criminals in charge of Nigeria have no tribe. They do not have any ethnic. They do not have any religion. At least if they did, they will have compassion. They will be compassionate towards, if they are tribes, they will be compassionate towards their tribe. If they have any ethnic allegiance, they will be compassionate to their own ethnic people, Abi. or if they are religious people, they will be compassionate towards those of you who are religious. Their religion. For everybody they collect inside Nigeria, even the witches and wizards, they no spare them. You understand? So we all have one thing in common. Anything that will erupt that contraption, I will vote for it. And you can call me any name. And that's why I won't use my platform to promote any voice that is looking for their vices, that is looking for their weaknesses, that any voice that think is opinionated about to be an obedient, you will keep it to yourself. You understand? Right. Now, second to the last part of this chart, he said,
and finally we said, will you keep contesting? Well, I can tell you, I'm not desperate to be president of Nigeria. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work. Because they can work. So, if I find those who can do it the same way, if I find those who can do it, what I can do, what I do, of course I will encourage them. I've been part of a system that is working. I've seen systems work. What I want to see is Nigerians who don't. Have you wondered why Nigerians are so religious, yet things are going wrong? It's because they don't believe in God. They actually talk, but they don't believe in it. Because if they do, the story will be different. They will have conscience, they will have compassion, and they will do the right things. But I've seen people do the wrong thing consistently while preaching. So for me, it's not about me. It's about us. How do we get it to go right? It is not very difficult. Nations after nations have done that. Why can't we do the same thing? It's as simple as ABC. Tell me the problem you think is the greatest problem in Nigeria. And I tell you that it can be solved. Because we're not the first people who have solved it. We're not the first people who have victim of criminality. It was all over South, call it America. From Colombia to Mexico to this to Brazil and everything. It's been solved. We're not the first country to be immersed in poverty. It's been solved in other countries. So if they have done it, we're not the first country who did not have power. It's been solved in countries. Then everything. I was just quoting in Tanzania last week. If you follow my tweet, Tanzania last week had to shut down 5 of their facilities because they have overcapacity in electricity production. Tanzania, they shut down five facilities because they have overcapacity. They have more than they need. So what is wrong with us? That in 20, 30 years, we're stuck in one place because the establishment don't want us to go, and they root it in tribe. Is there any tribe that have electricity, my brother? No. Show me where they have 24 electricity, and we'll go there and live. So it's not a tribal thing. Or show me any religion where even a church that the electricity is 24 hours in Nigeria, church, and we all go there and worship. It is nonsense. We must dismantle this criminality that is today.
And I support that. And, everyone on his way. Because if this establishment of criminality, or, criminal establishments continue to exist, it will continue to hold, what do you call it? It will continue to work against our collective destinies. Remember that. But again, more take it a bit further. They asked him, why is it that those who said that Peter Obi, any small thing they will talk about Anambra, and then they turn it into Igbo, this, Igbo, that, okay? And they want to make you feel like the Igbo elites, they were the ones pushing Obi to come and be president. That's not real. And it's true that the number one enemies, supposed political enemies, who sees him as a bigger threat, is a guy that a lot of people hold in high esteem, So when he's among all other Eastern elites is given this special treatment, like he's better than them, is not corrupt, is this. So they don't like that. You understand? So, and he said, why? He said, why? Listen.
People to sack. Tell you, when I became governor, by influence of somebody called Professor ABC Wonsun, asked him, he asked me to go and see certain people. He's still alive. I said, I won't see them. I'm contesting to be governor of Anambra State, and I'm not from Anambra. And when I became governor, I used to quarrel with people who were not happy with me. If you know that the elites in Anambra, even till today, are not happy with me. And it's not that I know it, because I go to see a president then who tells me, Peter, nobody is happy with you. And I say, Mr. President, I didn't promise people happiness. I promised to fix school. I promised to fix school. I promised to fix health. I promised to, because the only thing that would have made them happy is to give them public money, which I'm not ready to give anybody. And that's it. So.
So the obedient. And to those of you who said that he's campaigning for 2027, so what is wrong in that? He's a politician. He's a one Nigerianist. He's meeting with the obedient that supported him in his elections. So what do you think the communication is going to be about? Well, I said he's currently on that thank you tour. Okay. Then he's coming to the UK. And to those the obedient in the UK, I think, I don't know when, right? But he is coming around here. And I believe it's going to be in another few days. Well, that's all that happened in Canada, ladies and gentlemen. Canada, the Canadian obedience, as well as their powers all over the world, including those of you who are here on this platform. That is what happened in Canada last night. Let's go to what happened in Nigeria yesterday, where a doctor, but before I go to that, Princess, which of your sons is having his birthday today, so I can send happy birthday to him? I know he's not Adnan, and I've spoken to the Adnan before. So if you give me the name, I can send a happy birthday to the woman. Last week, Nigeria Tifnumbu announced, well, it's about 2 weeks now. They announced increase in electricity tariff, meaning people have to pay more. Since things have become more expensive, the distribution companies in Nigeria, electricity companies in Nigeria, they could no longer run efficiently on the charges, on the old charges. Thank you, African Wahala. And thanks to every one of you with your super chat. Thanks for your generosity. Right. Now, look at this before this APC, before they came to power in Nigeria, okay? Nigeria was reported to be generating about 8,000 megawatts of electricity. No, Nigeria is not a giant of Africa, so forget about that. That's just some fables that people put out there. It's wrong, it's a lie, okay? Anyway, the giant of Africa, or the giant of Africa, was generating about 8,300 megawatts of electricity in 2015. Then APC happened to Nigeria. APC, Egbekegbe, the dream killers, they generated 0 megawatts of electricity in 9 years. 0. They added 0 megawatts of electricity to the national grid in 9 years. But they will tell you that they built, Bukwari built 365 megawatts of Kinikon. But Baba, these guys met electricity generation in Nigeria at 8,300 megawatts as degenerated. 9 years after, they are bragging that Nigeria is now generating 4,000 megawatts. Back then, Nigeria was sharing over 4,000 megawatts of electricity when they were generating 8,000. 4,000 was wasted, just wasting away, because Nigeria didn't have enough infrastructure to transmit all those generated power. However, when APC, Egbekegbe came in, the Nigerian electricity national grid started collapsing, like someone suffering from epilepsy. No cure. At the end of the day, it has now gotten so reduced. You see the screen, you see the picture on your screen, right? So 2 weeks ago, they now announced that, well, with the little they are generating, no intention of increasing it because there's no money. You are going to need $10 billion annually before you can generate stable electricity in Nigeria, according to Adelabu Peculiar Mercy, Penkele Mercy, your Minister of Darkness. Since there is no 10 billion, then the rest of you will just have to pay for whatever it is. Give me a second. I think I have lost. Hang on, no. There's so many things I've lost. I shouldn't have left on without putting their, putting the chargers on them. Sorry about that. Again, right? So it's going to take them 10 billion. Hang on, no. It's going to cost you $10 billion to have electricity 24/7. Since there is no $10 billion annually, then whatever is left, everybody just use on like that. So they increase the tariff. Band A, band B, band C, band D, band E, band F, band G, band H, band I, band J, even band Z. Those who get electricity for 1 hour once in a year, they are band Z. So people started complaining that, which kind, like, third world country where people are paying the price of a first world country for electricity that they don't even get. I never thought that the what do you call it? I never thought that the hospitals. Give me a second. I never thought that the hospitals would become a target as well. Until this doctor raised an alarm. I want you to hear him so that at least he will be in his own words. For those of you who are still currently shouting, and you look at you look on. Some of you just pray, say, for sick. The way Nigeria, I've said this 1 month ago, that the way the situation in Nigeria right now, do everything to make sure that you don't fall sick. No go get malaria. Any mosquito will won't bite you anyhow, hold on for neck. Because Baba, if you go fall sick and you end up in the hospital, if you no come back home, if you no come back to your house again, small thing can just kill you. And that's what that doctor is saying. If you get there and you are unable to even afford the, unable to afford the treatment, or the hospital itself is probably not really, capable to even save you because all they have has been spent on electricity. About how much is 25 million naira in dollars? That should be somewhere around $20,000. Baba, why would anybody charge $20,000 a month on an essential service provider like an hospital? Baba, I don't understand though. But this is what the doctor had to say. And I don't know if it's exaggerated or not, but it is an issue that calls for concern. Call from your own stable, right? What do you think?
That transmission line is a super highway. For generated electricity and power. They could not even make a down payment for a roasted corn. That transmission.
So there is no electricity. But whatever is left, Kolu, they will squeeze you until you will shududun. You will shududun. So ya kika me shududun. Emma shududun. But first, listen to this man.
An epidemic, I call it right now, is bound to destroy the healthcare system of this country. Come to think about a hospital. PHED sent us a letter stating that by reason of us being in Band A, our monthly power bill is now coming up to 25,300,000 every month. That's crazy. Hospital is not business center. Hospitals are rendering essential services to the society. We're already struggling with the doctors leaving the country. Majority of healthcare system struggling as it were. I don't know where that will come, but I can state here that if nothing is done and done urgently to revisit that decision, I can put it to you that band A epidemics in the hospitals will turn most hospitals into morgue. It could not be an epidemic, unfortunately, could have been said to be preventable.
So please do explain to me how you think the hospitals are at a greater risk with the issue of Band A, in the manner you say to turn them into morgues.
No. See, it's quite clear. Let's take the business dimension, the frustrating dimension of business out of it. Power is the life of healthcare delivery. When the light is in a hospital, patients have a sense of hope of living again. In addition to that, majority of emergency drugs and anesthetic drugs all maintain what they call coaching. Okay. There's a particular temperature. As a matter of fact, most drugs, if I should make it clear here, there's a temperature for these drugs to be. But if this decision is done, as the Business Day newspaper reported that 20% of the hospitals are already shutting down, and this decision again on to strain the hospital the more, it will come to a point where most of these drugs will be in a state, as is already happening. Most time a diabetic patient will have an insulin given. You won't see any effect. Most probably, the protein content of it has already been denatured because there is no power to preserve them. I witnessed something in the course of my medical engagement where an elderly woman was to be operated. The anesthetist gave propofol, a certain volume, otherwise you make a woman to be able to relax. And the anesthetist asks, "Madam, how are you?" The woman said, "I'm fine." The anesthetist increased the dose to be able to see if this woman should be able to sleep or not. "Mama, how are you?" He said, "I'm fine." Everybody looked at each other. Was it that the woman is alcoholic to have been able to resist such a... The anesthetist increased the dose a little more and said, "Mama, how are you?" The woman said, "I'm fine. Is there any problem?" Everybody said, "Mama, get down. It is time. Let's be able to revisit." Only after evaluation, it was found that even though the drug was original, but not well preserved. That is to say, those that are diabetic in Nigeria currently should brace up, because majority of them that are insulin dependent will see no way to buy the drugs. So matter of fact, they have to travel miles, maybe to get a hospital that may have a steady light to be sure of what they are taking. It's going to be a disaster. While this Band A is on, teaching hospitals and federal medical centers used to enjoy some relative form of life. Because perhaps they are not going to pay like other people, they are not downgrading them to Band B, so that they will channel the energy to the people they feel that can pay, to the detriment of the health of the people. I can count on and on. Power is what determines whether a surgical procedure will be successful or not successful. It determines the before and after, the outcome of any surgery. If the instruments are not properly sterilized, it is signing a death sentence for our people. If nothing is done to stall this development right now, the society should brace up for what is called nosocomial infection that will be acquired from the hospital, and the type that may come up may be one that will be resistant to all antibiotics we know. That even when we start getting it right, the worst had already happened. Something has to be done right now to install the possible mutation of those organisms by reason of being allowed in an environment of no power. My heart wrecked when a teaching hospital could pack their own instruments to go and sterilize in another because they don't have light. Who taught this? That's what I'm actually worried about. What is the level of consultation for which you look at something from economic indices perhaps of an interested individual or group to override the health of the people of this country. No, you see, most times we look at our little privileges in life, being in government or being in a position of financial empowerment. The day emergency will come, you will not know where you will be. That's why I look at it's a stone thrown into the market, it's gonna hit hard. And it is something preventable as it is now.
So aside the hospital or the healthcare delivery system, how does this Band A issue affect other businesses across Nigeria?
See, this is beyond business analysis. It is no doubt that such decision will affect the small and medium scale enterprises. Just come to think about this. A hospital with a NEPA or what you call power bill of over 25 million per month, that hospital has to pay the salary of the staff. It has to buy drugs, disposable, that the cost at the moment are triple because of the dollarization of our economy. You also have to maintain these equipment, sensitive equipments, and as well, for those that have had some form of facility from the bank, we also have that responsibility to go. And at the end of the day, this is seen to be a sustainable venture. This is not a job. This is not about money. This is not about profit. This is not about business. If a mechanic has a problem with your car, you look for another spare parts. A lawyer, the worst you can get from any lawyer is to go to jail. But when it has to do with healthcare, come on.